Today, I would like to sit with something that we've all struggled with at some point in our lives, and that is forgiveness. And it's not about how to forgive or why we need to forgive, but actually what happens to us before forgiveness is possible. Now, forgiveness is two kinds. One is forgiving ourselves, and the other is forgiving someone else. Now, with forgiveness, when we talk about forgiving ourselves or another person, or when we are even seeking forgiveness, it's often that we're really seeking peace, compassion, understanding, and connection. And so often our attempts of forgiveness is to bring back the equilibrium of connection in our lives again. Now, when we talk about forgiving others, whenever I hear, I want to forgive them, I have to forgive them, I have forgiven them, a part of me always pauses to reflect. And I've done this for as long as I can remember, which is, who am I really to forgive? When I sit with that inquiry, I'm reminded that I am human just as this other person, and I have the same capacity or similar capacity to cause pain, to bring hurt, to bring sadness and grief upon another person. So when I think of forgiving another person, I think before that's possible, it's about recognizing that part in ourselves. Because often when we try to focus on forgiving another person, it almost feels like we are superior to them in some form, when the truth is we are human, we are messy, we can hurt intentionally or unintentionally, and we all have that capacity. That doesn't mean that forgiveness is not important, but to be able to see that we're not above them in any way. Maybe their actions or behaviors can be different to how we might behave, but we are not above another human. And coming to forgiveness with ourselves, when we apply the same inquiry, what are we really forgiving about ourselves? What part of ourselves are we really wanting to forgive? And in that, what are we really seeking? If we really pause, what shows up? To me, forgiving myself, it's about acceptance. And that acceptance is about, again, the humility of being human, being messy, having the capacity to mess up, to to cause hurt, to cause pain, and the acceptance that that is a part of who I am, whether I do it intentionally or not. And so when I think about forgiving myself, it's about accepting the part of myself that hurt through my own thinking or through my own emotions or through my own actions towards myself. So as we're kind of sitting with this unfolding and exploration, I invite you to perhaps just think about maybe a person or a situation in your life, or even a part of yourself in your life that is either seeking forgiveness or needing to forgive. And I wonder if we can sit with that part that is not quite there yet, where there's a knowing that forgiveness brings peace, compassion, and connection, and yet there's a part of us that feels like we're not there yet. And I invite you to bring that part into the space as we sit together. And the invitation is to be able to meet that part, to look into its eyes or to look into its heart, and really allow it to exist just the way it is, right here, right now, without forcing forgiveness. And just notice what happens to your body or what happens inside of you when you're able to just meet that part of you that has been struggling to forgive or been struggling with seeking forgiveness and not feeling like you're ready. And notice what happens to it when we meet it without forcing, without trying to judge it or understand it or change it, but really allowing it to be here with us as an integral part of this process. And if you notice any discomfort, see if we could just stay with it for another few seconds longer. Again, as you would sit with a child or something tender and beautiful and vulnerable that doesn't know how to be itself or calm itself. We are genuinely giving permission to that part of us or the part of our humanness that struggles with not being whole or love or an idea of being truly open-hearted. Before we get there, we have to be able to accept those parts of ourselves that are along the way to us becoming open-hearted, becoming love and becoming able to find peace, not just with aspects of what we love within ourselves, but also the parts of ourselves that we really, really struggle to stay with. Thank you so much for sitting with me in this exploration of forgiveness. I would love to hear what you experienced, what insights landed, what resonated, or what didn't, all in the name of learning how to be more together in this journey called life. I'll see you again next week.